Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the Haunted Basement Studio. And in this comic book review, we are going to be doing Vampirella Armageddon, issue number 5 right here. And what's been going on with the story is crazy. First off, a real recap right here. Vampirella gets transported to hell from a dark priest where there is a war going on in hell. But before she can even attack that war, she gets swallowed by the hellworm, and then she's trapped in the hellworm for a few issues. And inside that hellworm, she has an ally in there named Walker. They eventually get out of the hellworm and shrink him back down, because Walker is like the controller of this hellworm, and now they're walking themselves into hell. And so now both of them are walking their way to the city in hell, and they got to figure out, man, Walker needs some new pants and Vampirella needs some answers, some information. But before they can even get to the city, these goons show up, these monsters, these evil creatures, and they're like, oh yeah, they're going to go ahead and try to kill Vampirella and Walker and take their bones and their blood for payment. But these guys don't know who they're up against. They're up against some ruthless freaking vampires, and Walker, the immortal one that walks this earth forever, cursed because he was the first murderer. And when these creatures, these evil goons, try to go ahead and attack Vampirella and Walker, Vampirella takes off one of the heads with a queen swipe of her hand, and she's holding the D head right here as Walker is taking down the other two. They kill them both dead easily, and they take their clothes, their coin, and their wagon, and they're off to the city in hell. Okay, now they walk into the city. They're going to go ahead and split up so Walker can go find some new clothes and Vampirella can get the information that she needs. So now Walker walks into a clothing store, and the clerk right there is, hey, you want to barter something? What is that worm on your shoulder? And Walker looks at him and says, the worm is not for barter at all, and I got plenty of coin for these clothes. And as he pays the merchant for his new attire, the merchant says, are you sure you don't want to sell me that worm? And Walker says, you don't want him? Trust me. And as Walker leaves, the merchant says, I've known that. I've seen that worm. I've heard about it before, and I can't believe I've seen it with my own eyes now. That is the hellworm, and I know there is some high authority people that would love to know about this information. And as the clerk walks over to this giant castle, they tell the people that he believes that the hellworm is in hell. And as they go up into the castle, and you see like a fallen angel with one ring ripped off, and they say, we think the hellworm is in hell, the god killer. And now Vampirella walks into this bar because she knows if she needs any information, all she's got to do is order a drink and sit down and listen to the Patreons in the bar. And as she does this, she finds out that there is a war going on between the druids, which she knows, and she is probably responsible for them rising again, and the Stroud, which is a mystery to her. She doesn't know who they are. And right then and there, a lady walks up to her looking like a cat with evil horns, and she says, my mistress has sensed you and she wants you to come talk to her. And Vampirella says, we are in hell, and hell's a dangerous place. I'm not too sure if I want to go meet your mistress. And then she tells Vampirella that the mistress has sent you since you arrived in hell, and she has some knowledge about your mission here. And Vampirella is like, well, I need all the information I can get, so take me to your mistress. And now, as Vampirella walks into this room, there is this creature, this girl, this woman, almost like a witch, sitting on a throne. And she says, Vampirella, I've sensed you, and I can help you with your prophecy. And as Vampirella says, well, that's why I'm here. Tell me what you know, lady. And as she holds out her hand, the witch stands up, and she's like 12 feet tall. And she grabs Vampirella's hands, and their eyes meet, and this vision starts to happen. You are a child of the garden, daughter of the mother of darkness, Lilith. Dude, and this is about ready to get crazy. You were created to take away your mother's sins, illuminate the shadows, and banish the many evils that existed there. And Vampirella says, I am the light in the darkness, but there is something inside of you, something that has existed since your inception, something dark, patient, and frightening. It has been waiting for a long time for an opportunity to emerge, to change the course of reality. And then you see Vampirella's eyes start to glow, and then she says, what do we have here? As the witch starts to scream and then says, it is the personification of Mother Lilith's anger at the Lord God. She thought it was gone, replaced by repentance, but it has lived on in you. And now Vampirella looks up at her and says, I think we've heard just enough from you. But now the witch says, I see a war, a final battle, and in nothing darkness will reign, and all will be ash. As their hands release and they both fly backwards, the witch says, she mustn't be allowed to emerge. She mustn't not be allowed. And now as their hands release, they both hit the ground, and she says, the darkness. She has been waiting in the darkness. And that's all that there will be when the war is done. Darkness. As Vampirella runs out of the bar, says, I got to go. And so now Walker is walking back to his wagon, but right before he gets there, he sees 3 goons, creatures, looking on it, and he walks up and says, what are you guys doing? That's my wagon. They're like, no, this looks like somebody that we know, part of our cruise wagon. He says, well, it's not his anymore. And as they start to attack Walker, he pulls out Leviathan, the hellworm, from his new found jacket, and Leviathan pukes all over them. And it's not just puke, it's freaking acid. And their faces start to melt off to the bone, to skeleton, as they fall hard on the dirt in this hell city. And now Vampirella walks up to Walker and says, I thought we didn't want any trouble. He said, well, these were some of the goons' friends that we got the wagon from, so we had to take care of them. She says, well, anyway, there is a war going on in this city, so we must go there. He's like, all right, hop on, let's go. And as they take off. And so now back in Spectre City, we got Vampirella's crew, the Dense Macabre. They're trying to figure out how they can go get Vampirella, go to hell. They gotta rip the fabric of time open so they can find a portal to hell. And once they get there, they gotta be able to find her. But don't worry, the lion says that he can smell Vampirella anywhere. Just get him to that domain and he will find her. Like, okay, but like the Dense Macabre's the only one that knows how to make this portal. But then the wolf says, you know what? We're in Spectre City and I know a guy. And now we cut to the little baby, the Mad Chaos, where apparently like the Mad Chaos Lord got transferred into maybe this like 7-8-year-old child. And as they travel thousands of miles, the companion says that your destiny, the Oracle, told you that you will rule after the war in hell. So there's a war in hell going on now. And after this, you're going to be able to become the ruler and fulfill your prophecy to take over the ruler of hell. and in all of realities. Why the hell did you drag me to this place? And he says, don't you know this is Spectre City? And this is where it's gonna go down. And plus, I know a guy. All right, man, welcome to the after review. My final thoughts and rankings of Vampirella Armageddon, issue number 5 right here. We rocked out the Francisco Matatina cover right there. I got the Lyrics Lee cover right over there. No worries about that, but the covers are amazing. What's inside the book is amazing as well, dude. I think this story is just taken off, dude. Finally, we got Vampirella out of that hellworm. We got him to shrunk down, and now he's like a little ally with us, but maybe he's the god killer. Great freaking story going on from Tom Sagosky, dude. He's absolutely crushing it. So yeah, let's start off with the story. The story has been solid all the way. It keeps on progressing from issue 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 now. And you know what? I know they already got number 9 that you can pre-order. So this story is going on. Like, we're right in the middle of it. Love it, dude. I love that it's going past a 10-parter. Or, you know, maybe it's just a 10-parter, but at least it's not a 6-parter, you know, or a 5-parter, you know, which are fun. But with this story, like, fun. Let's go, man. I think we're continuing on from Tom Sagosky's run of Vampirella Strikes. So if you haven't checked that one out, because I have them all and I've only read a few of them, not all of them, but I know I have the previous run. And so, man, I got to go pull them out. But, dude, I'm loving this one so much. So story is a great 9 out of 10, dude. Loving the story. 9 out of 10. And now let's go to the art from Kerber Ball. Kerber Ball right here is killing it with the art. Each issue is same continuity, in which I like that with the art where the characters look the same. You know, let's not draw them all different on different panels, right? No, let's make them look the same. And he does that in this one. And so, and not only in this one, but from all of the issues up to the 5-parter right here. So, the art, we're going to go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10, dude. So a 9 and an 8, what's that going to make the total ranking going to be? I don't know how my math's going to work, but we'll say it is an 8.5 overall. Overall, 8.5. This is a great read. Like I said about like before, like you don't need to read the Vampirella Strikes because I haven't. But like reading this one from the get-go, it's just like, okay, like as long as you know who Vampirella is, she's a vampire from Jackie Lone. She's like she's really an alien, you know, vampire alien. You know, she can live off of blood. She needs blood, but she doesn't need human blood. But maybe like, you know, there was no more rations, no more bags of blood where, you know, maybe one time she not accidentally, she got like taken down and shot up with a bunch of drugs. And then next thing you know, she's feasting off of her own friends. Nuts, dude. Vampirella, this was a crazy rant. I'm telling you, end of video, you know, my final thoughts. And so, yeah, great story. Can't wait for number 6. It's got to be out by the time this thing comes out. Pick it up. Let me know down in the comment section below if you're reading this one, because I highly recommend it. Freaking 8.5, dude, from the Haunted Basement Studio, from Triple P. And I am out. And I want you guys to remember one thing. You keep it haunted. Comics. And like and subscribe. Only if you want to, man. Only if you want to. And dude, yeah, let's talk about freaking how it's like the Dark Child effect here from like Magic from the X-Men is because now Vampirella has like this darkness that's inside of her, right? And it's like just been there the whole time, dude. So that is absolutely crazy. I'm like, I know, dude, it's magic right there, but hey, let's have Vampirella have that Dark Child in there too, dude. I'm all freaking for it. I love these stories like this. Who cares if it maybe has been done before in all different ways, but hell yeah, dude. Freaking the magic, freaking the darkness in Vampirella. And I like how they really do well with how freaking Vampirella is the light and trying to be the lightness of it, but there's like this dark child, right? But no, this one's like the darkness. This is the Armageddon. So now, no, we're not talking, maybe, dude, we got the magic, the ruler of limbo. Right now, she's giving up the Madeline Pryor. Man, I can go on and on about all this stuff. I love the freaking the darkness, dude. I do, man.